February 1st, 2026. 1:50 a.m. Tucson, Arizona. A doorbell camera activates, motion detected, a figure appears on the screen. Walking up to the front door of a house in Catalina foothills, one of Tucson's wealthiest neighborhoods, the figure is wearing all black. A ski mask covers his face. Black gloves. A backpack on his back, 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack from Walmart, and a gun. Holstered awkwardly over his crotch, he walks right up to the door. Looks down at the Nest doorbell camera, stares at it for a moment, then reaches out with his gloved hand. Tries to cover the lens. When that doesn't work, he taps the camera lightly. Trying to knock it off the mount, it doesn't budge. So he turns around. Looks at a potted plant in the front yard. Walks over. Rips a branch from it, comes back to the door. Uses the branch to cover the camera lens. The view goes dark, but what this masked man doesn't know is that Nest doorbell cameras store footage in the cloud. Even if the camera is disconnected. Even if it's destroyed, engineers at Google, which owns Nest, would spend days recovering data from back-end systems. Piecing together what happened, and what they found would send shockwaves across the entire nation, because the woman who lives in this house is Nancy Guthrie. She's 84 years old. A grandmother. A devoted mother, and her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, the co-anchor of NBC's Today show. One of the most famous journalists in America. When that doorbell camera went dark at 1:50 a.m. on February 1st, Nancy Guthrie disappeared, and 41 days later, as of today, March 10, 2026, she still has not been found. But here's what makes this case even more chilling: the masked man in the video. He didn't just show up on February 1st, he had been there before, days earlier. Maybe weeks earlier, standing at Nancy's door. Staring at the camera. Studying it, planning, and then he came back. This is the story of Nancy Guthrie, a case that's happening right now. As I'm recording this. A family pleading for their mother's return, a $1 million reward, and a doorbell camera that captured the last moments before an 84-year-old woman vanished into the night. This case is ongoing. Nancy Guthrie is still missing. Her family is still searching. This episode contains details about a suspected kidnapping and will discuss ransom demands and ongoing investigations. If you have any information about Nancy Guthrie, please call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Welcome to Case Unknown. This is a different kind of episode for us. Because this case isn't solved. It's still happening. Nancy Guthrie vanished 41 days ago. Her daughter, Savannah Guthrie from the Today show, has stepped away from her job to search for her mother. The FBI, Pima County Sheriff's Department, and investigators from multiple agencies are working around the clock, and a doorbell camera captured the moment a masked man disabled it, minutes before Nancy disappeared. This is the Nancy Guthrie case, and we're telling this story now because maybe, just maybe, someone watching this knows something that could bring her home. Let's begin. Catalina foothills, Arizona. 2026. Nancy Ellen Long was born on January 27, 1942, in Fort Wright, Kentucky. She's 84 years old now. In 2026, she still lives independently in her home in Catalina foothills, a beautiful, upscale suburb just outside Tucson. She's been in Tucson for over 50 years. Moved there in the early 1970s. Raised her family there. Built her life there. Nancy has 3 children: Savannah Guthrie, 52, NBC Today show co-anchor, one of the most recognizable faces in American journalism. Annie Guthrie, Nancy's older daughter, lives in Tucson. Cameron Guthrie, Nancy's son. Nancy is a grandmother. She's close with her family. Sees them regularly. She's independent. Still drives. Still takes Uber when she needs to. Lives alone in her house. She has health conditions. She's 84. She wears a pacemaker that connects to an app on her phone. Monitors her heart. She takes medications regularly, but she's doing well. Active. Engaged. Every Sunday, she watches a live stream of her church service. Never misses it. Nancy is the kind of person who keeps routines. Shows up when she says she will. Reliable, which is why what happened on February 1st, 2026, was immediately alarming. Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Evening, Nancy gets an Uber to her daughter Annie's house. Annie lives in Tucson, not far from Nancy's home in Catalina Foothills. Nancy arrives just before sunset. Has dinner with Annie and her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni. They have a nice evening. Dinner. Games. Talking. Quality family time. Around 9:50 p.m., Tommaso offers to drive Nancy home. They get in the car. Drive the short distance back to Nancy's house. At 9:50 p.m., they pull into Nancy's driveway. Nancy gets out. Tommaso watches her walk to the garage door. The garage door opens. Nancy goes inside. At 9:50 p.m., the garage door closes behind her. Tommaso Cioni is the last person to see Nancy Guthrie. Sunday, February 1st, 2026. Overnight, what happens next is something we know because of two cameras, the doorbell camera at Nancy's front door, and an interior camera inside her house. Between midnight and 2 a.m., something happens at Nancy's house. The doorbell camera captures it, a masked man. All black. Gloves. Backpack. Gun. He walks up to the door, but here's what investigators discovered later, something that makes this even more disturbing. The masked man had been there before, days earlier, maybe a week earlier. The doorbell camera captured the same man, standing at Nancy's door. Looking at the camera. Studying it, but on that earlier visit, he didn't have the backpack. One theory from law enforcement sources, he came to the door the first time. Saw the camera. Got scared. Left, then he came back, prepared this time. February 1st, 2026. Around 1:50 a.m., the doorbell camera activates, motion detected, the masked man is back, this time, he's wearing the backpack. Has the gun, he walks right up to the door. Stares down at the camera, then he reaches out. Tries to cover the lens with his gloved hand, doesn't work, he taps it lightly. Trying to knock it loose, doesn't work, so he turns around. Walks to a potted plant in Nancy's front yard. Rips a branch from it, comes back. Uses the branch to cover the camera lens. The camera goes dark, but the camera doesn't stop recording. It's still transmitting data to Google's cloud servers, around 2:30 a.m. Inside Nancy's house, an interior security camera detects movement inside the house. We don't know what the camera captured. The FBI hasn't released that footage, but we know there was movement, and then, something critical happens. Nancy's pacemaker, the device monitoring her heart, disconnects from the app on her phone. The app loses signal. Either Nancy's heart stopped, or the pacemaker was removed, or destroyed. Nancy Guthrie is gone. Sunday, February 1st, 2026. Morning, Nancy is supposed to watch her church's live stream. She does this every Sunday. Never misses it, but this Sunday, she doesn't log in. A member of her church notices. Gets worried, calls the family around 11 a.m. Nancy didn't show up for the service. Is she okay? Nancy's family is immediately concerned. This isn't like her. They drive to her house. Arrive around 11:56 a.m. They search the house. Front door, locked. Inside, Nancy's phone is there. On the counter. Her purse. Her medications. Her keys. Her car is in the garage, but Nancy? Nowhere. They search the entire house. The yard. The neighborhood. Nancy is gone. At 12:03 p.m., just 7 minutes after arriving, the family calls 911, our mother is missing. She's 84 years old. All her belongings are here. She would never leave without her phone and medications. Pima County Sheriff's Department responds. Deputies arrive at the house. Start investigating, and what they find makes this immediately a criminal case. Blood, on the front porch. Near the door, not a lot. But enough, deputies collect samples. Send them to forensics. The test comes back. It's Nancy's blood. There are also signs of forced entry. Signs of a struggle. This is not a missing person case. This is a kidnapping. The doorbell camera. Investigators know Nancy has a Nest doorbell camera, but when they try to access the footage, they can't. The camera was disconnected. Disabled. They contact Google. We need to recover the footage from this camera. Google engineers go to work, digging into back-end systems, trying to recover data from the cloud. It takes days, but they do it, and on February 10th, 9 days after Nancy vanished, the FBI releases the footage for photos. 3 videos showing the masked man at Nancy's door, the moment he covered the camera, the moment Nancy's home was breached. The videos go viral. Within hours, the doorbell camera footage is everywhere, every news channel, every social media platform, CNN, Fox News, NBC, ABC, CBS. Savannah Guthrie, Nancy's daughter, posts the images to her Instagram. We believe she is still alive. Bring her home. The images are chilling. A man in a ski mask, gloves, backpack, gun awkwardly holstered, reaching for the camera, trying to disable it, ripping a plant from the yard to block the view. The FBI analyzes the footage. They determine height 5 feet 9 inches to 5 feet 10 inches, build average, facial hair, black mustache visible under the mask, backpack, Ozark Trail hiker pack, 25-liter, sold at Walmart, gun, appears to be a semi-automatic, holstered over his crotch. They release these details to the public. Someone knows who this is. The searches begin. Pima County Sheriff's Department, FBI, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, search and rescue teams. Everyone is looking for Nancy. They search Nancy's neighborhood, door-to-door canvassing, Annie's neighborhood, where Nancy had dinner, desert areas around Tucson, the septic tank behind Nancy's house, bodies of water. They use dogs, drones, helicopters, ground crews. Nothing. Nancy Guthrie has vanished. The ransom notes, starting on February 4th, 3 days after Nancy disappeared. Ransom notes start appearing. They're sent to local media outlets. To the family, the demands, $6 million in Bitcoin. First deadline, February 9th. Second deadline, a few days later. The notes are analyzed by the FBI, but here's the problem. The FBI can't confirm they're real. Anyone can send a ransom note. It doesn't mean they actually have Nancy. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings, Annie and Cameron, post a video on social media. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know without a doubt that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you and we are ready to listen. They're asking for proof of life, a photo, a video, a phone call. Anything that proves Nancy is alive. They never get it. Both ransom deadlines pass. No contact. No proof of life. No Nancy. February 10th. A man is detained. 9 days after Nancy vanished, the FBI identifies a person of interest, using electronic investigative tools, phone usage data, traffic cameras. They zero in on a man. He lives in Rio Rico, Arizona. About 60 miles south of Tucson. FBI and sheriff's deputies converge on his home. Search his house. Search his car, detain him for questioning. He's questioned for several hours, but then, he's released, no charges. Not arrested. Law enforcement sources later say, he didn't have information that helped the case. Dead end, February 12th. The second detention. 2 days later, another man is detained, Luke Daly, 37 years old. Lives about 2 miles from Nancy's house. He has a criminal history, served time in state prison on drug-related charges. FBI and sheriff's deputies search his house. Detain him and his 77-year-old mother, question them for hours. Then, released. His lawyer, Chris Saleppi, later says, neither Luke nor his mother have any link to Nancy Guthrie. They are victims in this case just like the entire Tucson community. Another dead end. The glove. On February 15th, investigators find a black glove. It's on the side of a road. About 2 miles from Nancy's house. It looks like the gloves the masked man was wearing in the doorbell video. They send it to the FBI lab for DNA testing. Everyone is hopeful. This could be the break. February 17th, the DNA results come back. No match in Cody's, the FBI's national DNA database. Disappointment. But wait, there's more. Investigators do additional testing. Trace DNA. Touch DNA. March 4th, they get a hit. The DNA on the glove belongs to a local restaurant employee, someone who has no connection to Nancy. No criminal history. Not a suspect. The glove was likely discarded by this person. Then found by investigators who thought it was linked to the kidnapping. Complete dead end. The utility box. Investigators discover something else. Near Nancy's house, a utility box was damaged. It caused an internet outage in the area around the time Nancy disappeared. Was this intentional? Did the kidnapper disable the internet to prevent security cameras from uploading footage? Or was it a coincidence? Investigators are looking into it. The surveillance footage. Investigators canvass the neighborhood. Looking for more cameras, they find one. A Ring camera. About 2.5 miles from Nancy's house, it captured footage overnight on January 31st to February 1st. 12 vehicles passed by the camera between midnight and 2 a.m. Investigators are reviewing every single vehicle, trying to identify them. Tracking them down. Any one of those vehicles could belong to the kidnapper. Savannah Guthrie steps away from work. Savannah Guthrie is one of the most recognizable journalists in America. She co-anchors the Today show. Was supposed to cover the 2026 Winter Olympics for NBC, but on February 3rd, 2 days after her mother vanished, Savannah stepped away from work. She posted on Instagram, "My family is going through an unimaginable ordeal. My mother has been missing since early Sunday morning. We are doing everything we can to find her and bring her home safely." NBC gave her time off. As long as she needs, Savannah is in Tucson. Searching for her mother. The family videos. Savannah, her sister Annie, and her brother Cameron post multiple videos. All of them are heartbreaking. February 4th, Cameron, "Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you and we are waiting for contact." February 12th, Savannah, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home." February 17th, the family posts home movies of Nancy. When Savannah and her siblings were kids. Nancy laughing, smiling, playing with her children. Savannah's caption, "Our lovely mom. We will never give up on her." February 24th. The $1 million reward. The family announces a massive reward, $1 million for information that leads to Nancy's safe return, donated by the family. Within days, the tip line is flooded. Over 1,500 new tips come in after the reward is announced. Investigators are following up on every single one. March 2nd. Sheriff's update. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos gives a press conference. He's asked, "Are you closer to identifying the suspect?" Sheriff Nanos, "We are definitely closer than we were before." He won't elaborate. Can't compromise the investigation, but it's the most hopeful statement authorities have made in weeks. March 7th. Family cleared. Sheriff Nanos officially clears Nancy's entire family as suspects. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. This was never really in doubt. But investigators had to rule them out. Tommaso Cioni, the last person to see Nancy, fully cooperated. Provided his timeline was cleared. What happened to Nancy Guthrie? Investigators have multiple theories. Theory 1, targeted kidnapping for ransom. The most obvious theory, Nancy is the mother of a famous TV anchor. The family has money, someone kidnapped Nancy. Demanded $6 million in Bitcoin, but problems with this theory, no proof of life was ever provided. No direct contact with the family, only through media. Both ransom deadlines passed with no follow-up. If this was about money, why hasn't the kidnapper reached out again? Theory 2, burglary gone wrong. Former FBI agent Jennifer Coffin-Daffer suggested this. Maybe the masked man was planning to burgle Nancy's house. Thought she wasn't home. When he encountered her, things escalated. He panicked. Took her to prevent her from identifying him, but problems with this theory. The surveillance shows planning. He came back multiple times. He brought a gun and backpack, prepared for something. Why take an 84-year-old woman if you're just a burglar? Theory 3, she's being held nearby. Sheriff Nanos has said multiple times, he believes Nancy is being held somewhere near her home, not taken far away. Not across the border into Mexico, somewhere close, but where? Tucson has thousands of properties. Warehouses. Storage units. Remote desert areas. Without a solid lead, finding her is nearly impossible. Theory 4, she didn't survive. No one wants to say this out loud. But it's a possibility. Nancy is 84. She has health conditions. Needs medications. Her pacemaker disconnected at 2:30 a.m. on February 1st. If Nancy was injured during the abduction, and her blood was found on the porch, she may not have survived, but the family refuses to give up hope. We still believe in a miracle. The FBI's investigation. The FBI is using every tool available. Forensic analysis of the doorbell footage, determining height, build, gait analysis, DNA testing, multiple samples from Nancy's home, phone data, tracking phones in the area. Overnight, traffic cameras, tracking vehicles, gun purchases. FBI visited local gun stores. Showed photos of potential suspects, witness interviews, thousands of tips. They've identified persons of interest, but no arrests. No charges. No public identification of suspects. International attention. This case has drawn worldwide media coverage. CNN, Fox News, BBC, Reuters. Every major outlet. Because of Savannah Guthrie's celebrity, this story is everywhere, and that's exactly what the family wants. The more people who see Nancy's face, the better chance someone knows something. March 10, 2026. Today, it has been 41 days since Nancy Guthrie vanished. She is still missing. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are working the case around the clock. What we know. Nancy was last seen at 9:50 p.m. on January 31st when Tommaso dropped her home. A masked man was captured on her doorbell camera around 1:50 a.m. on February 1st. The man had visited her home days earlier. Surveillance planning. He disabled the camera with a plant branch. Interior cameras detected movement around 2:30 a.m. Nancy's pacemaker disconnected at 2:30 a.m. Her blood was found on the front porch. She left behind her phone, medications, purse, keys, car. Multiple ransom notes demanded $6 million. Bitcoin, authenticity unconfirmed. No proof of life has been provided. Sheriff believes Nancy is being held near her home. 40,000 to 50,000 tips have been called in. Investigators are definitely closer to identifying suspect. What we don't know, is Nancy still alive? Who took her? Why? Where is she? The reward. $1 million for information leading to Nancy's safe return. If you have any information, call the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Call Pima County Sheriff. 520-351-4900. Call 88-CRIME. 520-882-CRIME. Submit tips online. tips.fbi.gov. Savannah's message. Savannah Guthrie has been posting regularly on social media. Her latest message, posted last week: we are still searching. We are still hoping. We are still believing. Please, if you know anything at all, come forward. Help us bring our mom home. The community, Tucson, has rallied around the Guthrie family. Vigils. Flowers left at Nancy's house. Signs reading, "Bring Nancy home." Hundreds of volunteers have helped search. Local businesses have posted Nancy's photo in their windows. The entire city is looking for Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Ellen Guthrie is 84 years old. She's a mother. A grandmother. A woman who has lived in Tucson for over 50 years. She's kind. Devoted to her family. Active in her church, on the night of January 31, 2026, she went to her daughter's house for dinner. At 9:50 p.m., she came home. Hours later, a masked man appeared at her door, and Nancy Guthrie vanished for 41 days. Her family has been searching, pleading, hoping. Savannah Guthrie, one of the most famous journalists in America, has stepped away from her career to find her mother. The FBI has released surveillance footage of the masked man. Offered rewards. Followed thousands of tips, but Nancy is still missing, and somewhere, maybe in Tucson, maybe nearby, an 84-year-old woman is waiting to come home. If you're watching this and you know something, anything, please come forward, call the FBI. Call the sheriff. Submit a tip online, help bring Nancy home, because her family is still believing in a miracle. And maybe, just maybe, someone watching this right now has the information that could save her life. The Nancy Guthrie case is ongoing. As of March 10, 2026, she remains missing. This is case unknown. Sometimes, the person you're searching for is still out there. Still waiting. Still hoping someone will find them. Nancy Guthrie's family refuses to give up, and neither should we.